It was just ridiculous. It's not often that you're watching the WNBA or that I'm watching it and I'm like, wow, I've just never seen this before.
Picture this for a second. A commissioner clinging to control, a fan base pushed so far they finally snapped, and 3 players, Caitlin, Sophie, and Lexi, standing shoulder to shoulder as the entire league shakes beneath them. Right now, the WNBA is staring down the biggest crisis in its history. More than 200,000 fans have already pledged to boycott the 2026 season, and that number is skyrocketing by the hour. Things have gotten so chaotic that Cathy Engelbert reportedly left league headquarters in full-blown panic mode. Sponsors are lighting up the phones, Adam Silver is losing patience, and the league is hanging on by a thread. This is the story they never wanted out in the open. If you're watching, you're seeing the WNBA unravel in real time. Tap like, hit subscribe, yes, and drop a comment. Boycott 2026. If you're rolling with Caitlin, Sophie, and Lexi. It all blew up when the players' group chat leaked. According to the messages, Cathy Engelbert allegedly told Caitlin Clark to back out of outside commitments, especially her golf appearances. But she didn't stop there. Sophie and Lexi were hit with the same warnings. Suspensions were hinted at, benching was brought up, and yes, even the word termination got tossed around.
As for what Engelbert is alleged to have said to Collier, if she actually suggested Caitlin Clark should be grateful for what she makes off the court, that's preposterous. Did you miss the Iowa years? Clark is the Tiger Woods tide that lifts all boats. And we know this show is proof. The highest rating we have ever had followed one of her games at Iowa. The WNBA has benefited from her presence more than the other way around, even though this year for Caitlin Clark was essentially lost.
The players couldn't believe what they were reading. Caitlin finally spoke up. So we're not even allowed to play golf? We can't have lives outside basketball now? That message spread fast, and for the first time ever, Caitlin Clark, the face of the entire WNBA, felt trapped. But Sophie and Lexi weren't about to let her face it alone. They stood beside her immediately. If they suspend you, we're out too, they said. 3 teammates, 3 fan favorites, 3 women united when the league needed them divided. And somehow, Cathy Engelbert picked the worst possible time to pick this fight. The second the threat leaked online, fans erupted. One tweet by itself skyrocketed past 1.2 million views. Suspend Caitlin and we suspend the WNBA. Reddit blew up. Instagram blew up. TikTok blew up. This wasn't frustration anymore. This was the breaking point. People remembered everything. The bogus fouls, the cheap shots, Caitlin being benched for safety, players being warned over harmless hobbies, threats tossed around like nothing, and then the bomb dropped. 200,000 fans signed the 2026 boycott. Verified, confirmed, growing every single minute. It wasn't just individuals, whole families signed, whole friend groups signed, kids, parents, entire communities, done with the league. This wasn't temporary outrage, it felt generational, and the sponsors noticed immediately. No waiting, no negotiating. They dialed Cathy Engelbert themselves. If Caitlin goes, we go. One rep didn't hold back. This isn't a league issue, this is a Cathy issue. Within hours, the league office was flooded with emails. The panic had officially begun.
Then the high tide lifts all boats or whatever, basically. Like, if you buy into this, everybody is going to eat. Yet you had people fighting tooth and nail the entire season, not wanting it to be this way because other people weren't getting flowers, or she was getting too much attention, or she gets a special whistle, or I'm gonna check her off the ball here just because. And then her teammate cheers for her for throwing her on the ground. It didn't get better. And it's disappointing to me because it's not every player in the WNBA. And I'm sure that there are many players who are happy to have her in the league. And it's like, if it was my league and somebody was coming in and bringing millions of people, like, I would be excited about that, because you know what? That's a chance for me to impress millions of people who weren't watching before. And there's a lot of women in this league who don't have that kind of envy and jealousy and this kind of like secret club mentality that they only want certain people to be.
And then it got even worse. Hundreds of companies started pulling their funding. Others froze every dollar. Some flat out said they might never return. That's when the WNBA finally understood. This wasn't a PR issue. This wasn't a minor flare-up. This was a full-scale financial collapse happening in real time. Cathy Engelbert's decisions were choking the league right in front of their eyes. Once the boycott count hit 210,000, Adam Silver had enough. He stormed into the office, slammed a binder onto the conference table, and said, Fix this or resign. Silence. Kathy froze where she stood. Her face went pale. Silver looked her dead in the eyes. Why are you threatening players for having lives? Why are you targeting Caitlyn? Why are her teammates getting warnings too? Kathy tried to mumble some kind of explanation. Silver wasn't interested. You're not banning golf. You're not suspending anyone. You're not firing anyone. Period. And then the moment that sent the room into shock, the assistant commissioner leaned in and whispered something to him. Silver shook his head, stood up, and walked out without another word. No meeting. No negotiation, just pure legendary frustration. Meanwhile, at Fever HQ, the players' phones were blowing up non-stop. 200k boycotts, 220k, 235k, 250k. Caitlyn stared at the growing numbers. Sophie reached over and grabbed her hand. Lexi wrapped her arms around both of them. They're doing this for us. Caitlyn whispered, Sophie nodded. Then we stay strong. Lexi added softly, all of us, together. Back at league headquarters, sheer chaos had taken over. Employees were crying, phones never stopped ringing, emails were exploding by the thousands, sponsors froze every partnership, executives hid in their offices, and Kathy, she was shaking. No plan left, no allies, no safety net. She finally understood the truth. You don't win battles against your fans. You don't bully your biggest stars. You don't control people into loyalty. The fans had officially taken their league back. By the end of the day, when families were counted, the boycott estimate soared past 1 million. Kathy's chair sat empty. Her office door was locked. She refused to come out. And the WNBA was left with nothing but losses. Losses in sponsors, trust, fans, money, and stability. The collapse had already begun.
Be holding the players back from saying, yes, we agreed to an extension. Let's try to iron out this deal so there is no lockout. Right? They'll still be able to negotiate if there's a lockout. However, players won't be able to head to the facility. They won't be able to get treatment. They won't be able to train with the team, with the staff. So there is some things to lose if there is a lockout. Sources: WNBA offers players extension on CBA deadline. The WNBA has offered players a 30-day extension to continue negotiations for a new collective bargaining agreement, sources told ESPN on Tuesday. An extension before the current CBA expires Friday would allow both sides more time to negotiate a new deal.
Which raises some sensitivities of rivalries between players. In the case of Angel Reese, who's just had to shut it down because of a wrist injury, Caitlin Clark, who's continuing to play. Rivalry that goes back to their college days, presumably, where I guess some trash talking entered in. But now it seems on some social media channels to have taken a darker turn, a more menacing turn, where race has been introduced into the conversation, where sexuality is sometimes introduced into the conversation. How do you try and stay ahead of that, try and tamp it down, or act as a league when two of your most visible players are involved, not personally, it would seem, but their fan bases are involved?
All of this because she tried to strong-arm Caitlyn, Sophie, and Lexi, the very players she should have been defending, not threatening. Today, the WNBA didn't just risk losing talent. It lost the one thing a league can't survive without: trust. And once trust is gone, everything falls apart. If you think the fans were right to push back, drop Boycott 2026 in the comments until the message is impossible to ignore. And if you stand with Caitlyn, Sophie, and Lexi, make sure you like and subscribe, because this story is nowhere near finished.